Hey guys, it's a shocker. I got a double feature for you. It's my 300 subscribers and 400 subscribers special. The first part is a MonoType battle versus ximthatkindagirl. The person I originally was going to do it with wasn't able to do it because his Wi-Fi conked out, and yeah. So I lead with Gengar. So I obviously have MonoType. I have MonoType Ghost, and I can't tell she has firefighting. And I should have went for Shadow Ball there instead of Protect, but now I go for Shadow Ball. And the first song is going to be Like a Stone by Audioslave, and she's going to use Fire Blast, which is obviously going to bring me right down to my sash. One problem. She gets the burn hacks. So there goes the sash. So I'm like, okay, now I'm going to go to my Choice Banded Banette, max attack, max HP. And I just go straight for the Shadow Sneak. And that's going to take down that Infernape. And now she's going to go into Lucario. And since I'm locked into Shadow Sneak, I want to see how much it could do. And it doesn't do that much. And I'm like, oh, wow. And then she said her Lucario was choice specs. So I'm like, bugger. And bollocks. Because there goes my Banette. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. This is going to, like, hurt. So I go into Magic King. And I've got him power fighting. And she predicts it pretty nicely and goes into Heracross. And so I get Life Orb. So I go for a Shadow Ball. And that's going to do a decent bit, but I'm still like, oh wow, that's it. And she goes for the Swords Dance, but there goes Heracross now due to a second Life Orb, Shadow Ball. So now she goes out into Machamp, and I'm like, oh bollocks, this thing's gonna cause me pain. So I go out into Motor T, my Rotom, and I should have just Shadow Balled because then I could have Will-O-Wisp the Machamp, but she obviously gets a crit, so I don't think the crit really mattered. It might have. So I go into my Tombstone, my Spiritomb, and so she switches out back into Lucario, and I get the Hypnosis. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to try to set up here. I don't really have much of a choice at the moment. So I go for a Calm Mind while she stays asleep, and I'm like, okay, she's going to, I think, switch out here on the next turn. Yes, while I go to step another Calm Mind, and she goes into Breloom, and I'm like, crikey, because I know it's going to spore me on the next turn. And great, Toxic Orb, this is just great. So, she spores me, and I'm thinking, okay, first turn Wake Up. No. Yeah, but didn't get the immediate Wake Up. Okay, next turn Wake Up. She goes for Substitute, I'm like, oh, no Wake Up, and I'm like, crap. And it's got Poison in it, and then she Seed Bombs me, and I'm like, okay, I'm a 2-hit KO. And I wake up, so I break the sub, but I know she's going to spore me again. And after the HP recovery, she does in fact spore me again. And I'm like, crap. So she's going to Seed Bomb, and I think that's going to finish off my Spiritomb. Yeah, because it's going to stay asleep. So she finishes off my Spiritomb with Breloom. Spiritomb got Breloomed. Yeah. So I go back into Magic King, and I'm like, okay, Shadow Ball has to take this thing out. So I go for the Shadow Ball, and it takes out... does not take out Breloom. It barely lives, and I'm like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. So there goes my Magic King. It's gone. I'm like, oh boy. So I go into my Dusknoir named Fear Me, and she goes for the Spore, obviously, and I'm hoping for like first turn Wake Up because I need to set the Substitute, which I don't. So I get some HP back, and she goes for Spore. She said she misclicked, which obviously that's fine. Didn't matter because I stayed asleep anyways. So she's going to Seed Bomb again. And it's going to do a lot more this time. And I'm still asleep. And I'm like, oh my god. So she goes for another Seed Bomb. And I think I wake up and I'm like, alright, yes, Substitute. No, I go for the Ice Punch. I didn't go for the Substitute. Huh. Okay. So I go for the Ice Punch, take out the Breloom. I get some more HP back, and she goes into the sleeping Lucario, and I'm like, Substitute! And I was like, oh my god, because I went down to 11 HP, I'm like, So I get some HP recovery, I'm gonna go for Focus Punch. And thank god Lucario stayed asleep, because then I'm like, kapow! Unfortunately, I am down to my last Pokemon, and she still has my champ looming out there, which I know could probably take a focus punch like a pro. So obviously I'm going to go for a focus punch, because that's my best attack right now, because I got max HP, max attack. And obviously the substitute fades, and I go for the focus punch, and it's not going to take him out. And I could have went for Sucker Punch. I don't know why I don't have Shadow Sneak on here. I think I went for Sucker. I put Sucker Punch on here because it's more power. But Payback is obviously going to take down my Dusknoir. So good game, Ellie. Rate, comment, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys go check out our YouTube channel. Check out Pokemon Wi-Fi League. Peace. Alright guys, here's part 2 of my double feature. It's my 400 subscriber special versus MMLFrostyPixie. Sasha, it's a monocolor battle. So it's obviously yellow versus purple. And the first song is going to be Baby's Tears. Actually, the song is going to be Baby's Tears by Ryu Kosaka. So she leads with Crobat and I lead with my Uxie named Blast. And she's going to put me to sleep with Hypnosis. It's the third time in a row I fought a Crobat. And I also, for third time in a row, in 3 different battles, I also got the first turn Wake Up. So obviously I can't use the Thunder Wave after she uses taunt. She air slashes, I go into my Electivire, and then she goes into Gliscor, and that's going to take down my Electivire, my custom set Electivire, and I should have went with Ice Punch, but I went for Thunder Punch. So she taunts my Cresselia, and I'm like, oh boy, and then she Toxics me, and I'm like, okay, Ice Beam, should be able to take down that Gliscor. And no, it lives, and I'm like, oh my god, seriously? And so she switches out into Spiritomb. And I'm going to Ice Beam, which that Spiritomb is going to take it like a pro. And so I'm going to go back out to my Uxie named Blast It. And she's going to go for Calm Mind. I'm like, alright, Thunder Wave. Because Sucker Punch can't do that. Well, it fails, obviously. So she's going to use Sucker Punch again. It's going to fail because I'm going to set up my rocks. And now I'm going to switch and go on to my Zapdos named Zeus. And I'm going to set up the light screen here. And she's going to go for another Calm Mind. And now I'm going to switch out into my Typhlosion named Firestorm. And Parahax happens again. And I'm going for the Fire Blast. And it does a small amount. And she goes, I get another Parahax, and I'm going to get a critical hit with Fire Blast, and that crit mattered. So now she goes out into Gliscor, which is going to die from Stealth Rock damage. And now she's going to go into Mucky Muck. And I'm going to go for Eruption, and that Muck is going to live that Eruption. I'm like, wow. So it goes for Curse, but it's obviously a failed attempt because my light screen also wears off now. And Fire Blast is going to take down that Muck. So I'm like, Typhlosion, wow, just raping that team. So she goes into, oh my god, a Skank! And I go for Fire Blast, and that Skuntank is going to live. Because some of them carry Sucker Punch, but instead she goes, what the fuck, boom! And there goes my Typhlosion. I'm like, oh boy. And she gets a crit, and I'm pretty sure the crit didn't matter. She didn't need the crit. So I go into my Jolteon named Lightning. That's right, Jolteon's back. So she goes out into Crobat, and I'm like, Life Orbed. Alright, I'll just click Thunder and hope it hits, and it hits. And I'm like, yes! I also won the speed dive, so I'm like, haha. So she goes on to Gengar, and I'm like, alright, I clicked on Summary on my Crest. I went to click Check Moves, and I hit Switch. So I shifted right into Cresselia, so I'm like, alright, I'm just going to leave it in. And after Leftovers and Toxic Damage, it is not going to survive a second Shadow Ball. Which, now know, I'm having a feeling that Gengar's Scarf Gar. So, Jolteons have a pretty decent special defense, so I'm going to live that Shadow Ball. She's going to get the Spadef drop, but I'm going to take her down with Shadow Ball. Now I know she's Scarf, because she outran my Jolteon. So, good game, MMLFrostyPixie. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys go check out her YouTube channel. Sub her. Go join Pokemon Wi-Fi League, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hello to all of you new subscribers. Listen up. Now, I gained like over 50 of you guys in like the last week, so I hope you guys enjoyed that double feature. Also, I have like 83 Wi-Fi battles now, so if you want to go all the way back to the first Wi-Fi battle I had in November and watch, that's good. I encourage you to watch, comment, like, subscribe, spread the word, of course. Yeah. Check out Pokemon Wi-Fi League. Join there. I'm Elite 4 there. Go check out both the YouTube channels that will be in the description of my opponents. I would also like to say, welcome to the family of subscribers. That's pretty much all. Hope you guys enjoyed all that. Peace.